Mindful presenter, tip number 9. Respect your audience and always believe that they know more than you. One of the biggest mistakes that we can do while presenting is have this belief or misconception that we know more than our audience. This is a recipe for disaster. My dear friends, I want you to prepare for a presentation, keeping in mind your audience know more than you do. When you present in front of them, never think that you know more than your audience. In fact, if you forget something, involve them, ask them. Always try to have a more collaborative presentation. What do I mean by a more collaborative presentation is? Ask questions to your audience. I've been using this technique called ask and tell technique in my presentations all my life. In my entire 18 years of training experience, every day when I train for 8 hours, I use ask and tell technique. In ask and tell technique, I first ask my clients or my audience what do they think about something, and then I tell them what I think about something, keeping in mind that my audience know more than I do. So for example, if I have to present on presentation skills, the first thing I would do is I would start with the question, so how many of us have done a presentation skills training? What do you understand by presentation? And more often than not, I get answers which completely surprise me, pleasantly surprise me. My audience knows so many things that even I don't, which makes me humble, which makes me realize that there is no competition between me, the presenter, and my audience. In fact, I look at my audience as an extended arm of mine, as my own self in the audience, which means if I don't know something, then my audience do. And what I would do as a presenter is I would just include them. I would just ask them to help me out here. I would ask them to share their experiences, their stories, their point of views, their perspectives. And it makes my job very easy as a presenter. Because then I don't have to prove myself to somebody. I don't have to be there saying that, you know what, it's a competition between me and you. I know more, you know less. Most of the times when I'm training managers, senior managers, directors, even partners of consulting firms, CFOs, I humbly tell them, I just tell them that, see, you have more experience than I do. And you know more than I do. One exercise which I do more often than very often in my training programs is I ask people for how many years have you been working. So let's say on an average, one person whom I'm training who's above manager level has experience of around 15 years. If I'm training a batch of, let's say, 15 people, that's 15 people into 15 years. That's the kind of experience I have in my class. And I have a total work experience of 20 years. So now let's compare 20 years of my experience and 15 years on an average experience of an audience. That's the difference I'm talking about. Now, if I start thinking that I know more than the collective awareness and the knowledge of my audience, I would only be a fool. So I don't know whom you're going to present to and where you're going to present to. Just remember, the collective knowledge of your audience is always more than yours. The perspectives that your audience have are always better than yours. This does not mean that you should lose confidence. This means that from now on, seek confidence in your audience. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to be there and be the best. You just have to be one of the audience. Your job as a presenter is to harness the collective intelligence and knowledge of the group that you're part of that group that you are presenting to. The best way to present is to involve and include your audience in the discussions you have with them. And you can only do that by the belief that I know just a little bit that I'm going to share with my audience today, but I'm going to learn a lot from my audience in return. And my objective here is to make sure everybody shares more information so that everybody goes back with more knowledge. So respect your audience and always believe that they know more than you.